Folks, well, I just want to take a moment, very briefly, talk to you today, and I hope you're having a good day. But just a moment to think about probably one of the more important aspects of our relationship to this world. Look, Christianity is based on the premise of transformation. That means that something inwardly happens. It's not just a mere outward change. If Christianity and the message of the church becomes don't do this or don't do that, how are we any different from any other social organization that tells you that this is how your life should be? We have numerous people in the culture today telling us what we should and shouldn't believe, and prodding us to do it and then condemning us if we don't. Christianity simply isn't such a belief system. Christianity is based upon a transformation. It says in Romans 12 and verse 1 and 2 that we're not to be conformed to this world, but transformed. There's something that goes on in our mind. It literally changes the way that we see the world and we see others around us. And we're actually being changed, an inward reality, not merely an outward conforming. That's what all of the world wants us to do. If the church just simply coalesces and goes along with what the state tells it should believe regarding marriage, regarding sexuality, regarding children, and those things that should and shouldn't be taught to children, then we're just coalescing. We're just being conformed. And now you may be able to find some good moral, conscionable reason why this should be. None of these particular beliefs that are being presented to us today as moral convictions come without a semblance of lives are going to be helped. People are going to be prevented from being hurt by allowing this to be so. That's not the point. For us as Christians, there is something that happens within us. We're not conforming to the world around us, and our gospel is not a gospel that coalesces to the world. That's why it's been persecuted in every culture it has ever existed in. It is persecuted because it doesn't coalesce. It doesn't just go along. It doesn't just acknowledge and adhere to what is around it. It actually lives by something that is within, something that alters the way that we think and the way that we perceive the world to be. We're actually changed within. And that transformation that goes on within us affects not only how we see things, but how we act. And it's that action that becomes the salt and the light of the earth. The church, and you and I as believers, are here on this earth to be salt and light. Salt, if you ever put it on a wound, it doesn't feel too good. But we know that it has an effect. It actually does. It does help the healing process, but it is painful, much like pouring alcohol on a wound. It is painful, but it does have an effect of purifying. God wants us to live based upon His gospel, the reality of the truth that is a factual reality in our life, not just a mere belief, but a factual reality, that Jesus Christ came to this earth, that He was perfectly God, perfectly man, that God Himself took on human form, that He lived a life on this earth sinlessly, so that He could be a mediator between us and God. He could be that sacrifice and be our mediator. Not just our sacrifice for sin in 2 Corinthians 5:21, but also our mediator, our high priest. So when He was raised into His priestly ministry there in Hebrews 2 and verse 17 and on, so that He could come to us in our time of need. Now that reality that lives within us changes the way that we feel and the way that we act. It's not you and I imposing our beliefs on another person. It's you and I living out the reality of that truth, the reality of the love that lives in our heart towards those who are lost and do not know him, who are living based on all that they see and hear, but understand how desperate it is that tomorrow it may be totally different. What we have is an eternal relationship with the one who created all things. He's the beginning and he's the end. He's the one that was here before anything came to be. And we have a relationship with him. It's not only safe, it's secure. It's being held in the very hand of God the Father. It's as secure as God's own person himself. And that's why Jesus said in John 10:28 and 29, no one can pluck you out of my Father's hand. No. Let's live in a transformed life. Let's not be drawn into the fray of just devolving into expectations and demands. That's what the world does. We live in a transformed life. And that transformed life does not necessarily agree. But our power is a power that comes from our prayer and our testimony. And the fact that we all were lost and yet we're loved. And we take the same love that was shown to us and mercy given to us in our lost state and show it to others who are lost. The power of a testimony. Till next time, friends, God bless you.